So good morning, one and all. Today we are going to see BBT701 research and how to write the research paper successfully. So I'm Dr.S.Selvakumar, Associate Professor, Department of Agricultural Biotechnology, Bharat Institute of Higher Education and Research. Okay. Now, what is the definition of research? How will you define the research? Or what is the scientific research? So research is creative and systematic work undertaken to increase the stock of knowledge, and it involves the collection, organization, and analysis of the information to increase the understanding of a topic or any issues. A research project may be an expansion on the past work in the field. So the research conducted for many purposes of contributing towards the science by the systematic collection, interpretation, and evaluation of the data, and that too in a planned manner is called scientific research. Next I'm coming to, and the classification of research. So the scientific research can be classified in several ways. So the classification can be made according to the data collection. Techniques are based on the causality, the relationship with the time, and the medium through which they are applied. So number one, according to the data collection technique, there are two types of research based on this method. One is called the observational, the second one is called experimental. Next, in continuation of the classification of the research, so according to the causality relationship, it includes descriptive and analytical. So according to the relationship with the time, retrospective, prospective, and cross-sectional. Next I'm coming to, according to the medium through which they are applied, there are three methods. One is clinical, number two, laboratory, number three, social descriptive research. The another method is to classify the research according to its descriptive or the analytical features. Next, the types of research. Number one, descriptive research. The descriptive research includes case series, surveillance studies. Number two, the analytical research. The analytical research consists of the observational studies, cohort studies, case control studies, cross-sectional research studies. And second one, the interventional research. For example, we can say clinical research. Next I'm coming to, what is the analytical research? The analytical research includes the observational studies, cohort studies, case control studies, cross-sectional research, and the interventional research. I'm already told you, for example, clinical. What is the meaning of the descriptive research? So descriptive research, in this type of research, the participant examines the distribution of the diseases according to the place and time in the society. So it includes the case reports, case series, and the surveillance studies. Next I'm coming to case report. So case report, what is case report? The most common type of descriptive study. It's an examination of a single case having a different quality in the society. For example, conducting the general anesthesia in the pregnant women or pregnant patient with mucopolysaccharidosis. Next, I'm coming to the case series. So it is the description of the repetitive cases having common features for the instance, case series involving the interscapular pain related to the neuroaxial labor analgesia or the intrinsically malignant hyperthermia. So these cases are not accepted as the case series since they are relatively seen during the historical development. Next, I'm coming to the survivalence studies. So these are the result obtained from the databases that follow and record a health problem for the certain time. For example, the survivalence of the cross infections during the anesthesia in the intensive care unit patients. Next, I'm coming to the analytical scientific research. So in the analytical type of research, the most important difference of this and the descriptive research is the presence of comparison group, and they categorize as the observational and interventional research. Right. Next, I'm coming to observational research. So the patients are grouped and evaluated according to the research plan or the research program. So the observational research is more attractive than any other studies. It's a necessary clinical data is available, and coming to a conclusion is a fast and they incur the low cost. So in the observational studies and the factors and events examined by the researcher are not under the researcher's control. They cannot be changed when requested. So this is the observational. Next, I'm coming to the analytical observational research further can be classified as the cohort studies, case control studies, and cross-sectional studies. What is cohort studies? The alternative name of cohort studies is the prospective studies or the retrospective studies or the ambidirectional studies. It's a collection of names. What is it? A cohort is a group formed by the patients having the common characteristic features. And a cohort study is the one in which a group of patients is followed up in time. For example, the comparison of the academic performances of children who underwent the anesthesia in the neonatal period in the adolescence. Next, I'm coming to the cohort type of research. So the cohort type of research may be observational and experimental also. So the follow-up of the patients prospectively is called prospective cohort study. So the results are obtained after the research once starts. So the researchers or scientists following up of the cohort subjects and from a certain point towards the past is called retrospective cohort studies. So the prospective cohort study are more valuable than the retrospective cohort studies. Next, I'm coming to the case control studies. So these studies are basically a retrospective cohort studies. They examine the cause and the effective relationship from the effect to the cause. So the detection or a determination of the data depends on the information recorded in the past. So the researcher has no control over the data. Next, I'm coming to the cross-sectional studies. So in the cross-sectional studies, the patients or the events are examined at a particular point in the time. So the prevalence studies, what is prevalence studies? The percentage of a population having a disease at a certain time is called prevalence studies. So the prevalence studies are the ones in which the diagnosis and the disease mechanism are detected, and the cause and the effect, the relationship is examined at the same level. So the cross-sectional studies are characterized by the timing in such studies, and the exposure and results are simultaneously evaluated. Next, I'm coming to the experimental studies or the interventional research. So interventional research, sometimes called the experimental studies. In this type of research, there is a control. The control group again to be tested. The researcher decides upon which the effect the patient will be exposed to in the study. So the post-intervention, the researcher waits for the results, observes and obtains the data. So the interventional studies are divided into two groups. One is the quasi-experimental and clinical research. Next, I'm coming to what is clinical research. Most familiar terminology in this industry. Clinical research, clinical data analysis, or clinical data scientists. What is the clinical research? So clinical research, and they are prospective studies carried out with a control group for the purpose of comparing the effect and the value of an intervention in the clinical case. Therefore, the clinical study and the clinical research have the same meaning. Drugs, the invasive interventions, medical devices and operations, diets and nutrients, physical therapeutics and diagnostic tools are relevant in this context. Till now, we are discussed about what is scientific research. Then we are exploring our research in the paper. So this is called research paper. So what is the definition of the research paper? So research paper can be considered as a living thing which grows and changes as the student explores and interprets, evaluates the sources related to a specific topic. Next, I'm coming to the basic structure of the research paper. Number one, abstract. Number 2, introduction. Number 3, literature review. Number 4, materials and methods or methodology. Next, results and discussion, conclusion, references, appendices. One by one, let us see. What is the purpose of this many sections for writing the research paper? What is abstract? So the abstract, to briefly introduce the reader to the study aids, the methodologies, results, and important findings. Next, I'm coming to introduction. So the introduction consists of to introduce a clear overall purposes for the study and to define the research questions, to provide a very brief background of the relevant theory and practice for your research topic. Next, how to write the review literature. So basically, the review literature should be mention the important issues and the controversies around the topic. Next, it should be summarize what conclusions have been reached in the research literature and whether the different writers agrees or not. This is the literature review or a review of the literature. Next, I'm coming to methodology or material and methods. In this part of a research paper, to demonstrate that you are known of the research methods utilized to study this particular topic, and the methodology section to explain and justify the data collections and analytical methods. Next, I'm coming to results and discussion, the most important part of the original research. So the results should be present the findings of your research in an orderly manner. So your research findings should be in the orderly manner. Next, I'm coming to discussions. In the discussion section, to comment on the trends or to comment on the findings and show your understanding of what your data recommends. It's the most concise part of the research paper. Next, the final part of the research paper is called conclusions. The conclusion should aggregate the findings and the highlight of the significance of the particular study outcomes and to discuss the limitations of your study and show where the further research is needed. So next, I'm coming to the general methodology for how to write a different manuscript for a different type of scientific publications, right? Or something different journals. Very important thing is ask yourself important questions. So you have to ask yourself about the important questions regarding your topic. So choosing your topic is the first and most significant step in the research paper or in the research. So it is necessary to keep few questions in your mind before starting or before start writing your research. Number one, is there enough research available on this topic? Second, is the topic unique and new enough that I can provide the fresh opinions? Third, is it persistent to my class or my occupation? Next, I'm coming to method one. Pick something you love or pick something you dislike. So choose a topic that you have interest about, writing about, and something you enjoy surely. It shows in the final product, the quality product. So always stay original. So there is no question about manipulation. Should not manipulate the data. So stay always original. So also consider the other students. If you are writing a research paper for a class, is it likely that they will also be writing about your topic? So how can you make your paper unique or interesting if everyone is writing about the same topic? So next, get active. It's very important. Get active. So if we are confused with your particular topic, so that feels okay, right? Okay, that's right. It's okay. Then get advice from your colleagues or teaching faculties, professors, or co-workers or classmates. So they'll give you the good advice to write your successful research. And don't be afraid to change your topic. Why I'm saying this point? Don't be afraid to change your topic. So you have the right to do your own research. So you should explore your own things. So don't be afraid to change your topic or to change your methodology. So if you select a particular and start a research and realize that it's not the right decision for you for some reasons. So don't offer. So you can change the topic at any moment or any time. So next I'm coming to the second method of research paper writing is called researching. So it's a beginning of your research. So begin your research. So with a topic chosen, the next step is to start a research. You should use at least the minimum 5 sources to verify information. And most importantly, never depend on 1 or 2 sources. So next, look for the empirical research. So whenever possible, look for some reputed, peer-reviewed, empirical research. So it may be a textbooks or articles written by some experts in your interested field. Next, I'm coming to visit the library. Visit the library. So visit your local library or visit the university library. So don't be afraid to ask for the librarian, especially whenever you need some help, or either they are experienced in research and know where everything related to your specific topic is located. Next, I'm coming to look online, the new era, online era. So using a search engine and choosing the top 3 results is not important. So the best method of research use the critical thinking, thoroughly read each and every sources and determine if it is legitimate. Next, I'm coming to get creative with your research. Creative research or creativity of the research. If you get one really interesting book or one really interesting research paper from the journal that completely covers your topic. So look in the words cited and look into bibliographies and references based at the end of it. They also have some many more main points in the paper that are related to your topic as well. To use the academic databases. So use the academic databases which are related to your subject matter. So take a small trip to your university library or nearby government libraries or any other research institutions library and ask the people for the complete information of the academic databases they used to do. So next I'm coming to method 3, making an outline. Making an outline. So annotate your research. Once you are collected all your research reprints, just take print up. If it is collected from an online source, this step is very necessary. Read through your research, take the important points or take the notes on what you think is important and highlight the important facts and important points. Next, I'm coming to organize your notes properly. So you are writing the notes in the notebook. So organize your notes properly. So organize your notes by connecting all of your highlighted words or points or ideas into categories based on the topic. Next, I'm coming to construct a preliminary references page. So as you read your notes, mark down the name of the author or author names, a title of the research, name of the journal, page number, volume number, issue number, etc. Is collectively called publishing information for each and every research. And this will be used when you craft your reference. Next, identify the goal of the research. What is the major focus of the research? What is the aim of the research? So So each type of research paper requires a slightly different focus and writing style, which should be prior identified to beginning a rough draft. Then develop your own thesis, develop your own project. So the thesis statement is always one or two sentence statement at the starting of your research paper, and that specifies the paper goal or the main argument. Next, I'm coming to determine your main points, highlight your main points. So when you determine your main ideas, putting them in a particular order. A single main point I should not keep in a single paragraph. Particularly when you are writing a comparatively long research paper, 10 pages, 15 pages, 20 pages, 25 pages, etc. So next I'm coming to consider the formatting guidelines. So based on your research paper, the formatting guidelines or the class guidelines, you may have to organize your research paper in a particular order. So finalize your outline. The next step, finalize your outline. So with the mentioned tips taken into the account, organize your complete outline and justify the main points to the lips, and indent the subdivisions or the subsections and notes from your research below the each. Next, I'm coming to the fourth type of research writing, that is called writing your own paper. The fourth and final strategy to write the research paper. Write your body paragraphs, the main part of your research paper. So support each statement you make with the evidence and supply the enough explanations for your research. Avoid use many dialect and long words using the clear segments and into the adjustment points in your paper. Next, how to write the conclusions. A very important part of the last part of research. So the objective of writing conclusion, very simple, is to answer the question, so what? It's a good idea to write the conclusion before the introduction for many reasons. Most probably 200 to 300 words. Next, I'm coming to write the introduction. So in this part of introduction, the introduction is in many respects the conclusion written in reverse. So it begins by basically introduce the larger topic, then the orient the reader in the topic you are concentrated on, and finally write the thesis statement and avoid repeating the exact phrases that you already utilized in the conclusion. So you should not copy from the conclusion to the introduction part. Some people, they will write introduction nicely and same it will be repeated to conclusion. Should not do. Next I'm coming to document your paper. Sir, how to document my paper, sir? It's very simple. So all research papers or all research essays must be documented in some specific for avoiding the similarities. Very important. So avoiding the similarities. It is called plagiarism. So plagiarism should be avoided. So it is based on your research topic. You will have to utilize the different formatting styles of formatting your research paper. So there are 2 to 3 formatting styles may be followed. Some kind of reputed standard journals that is called MLA formatting system. Number 2, APA formatting system. Number 3, the Chicago formatting system. Next, I'm coming to edit your reference. If you edit your own paper, wait minimum 2 to 3 days before returning to it. So don't neglect edits by others. So just because they need a bit more work. So next I'm coming to create the final draft. Now we are constructing the Pakka research paper. So you are prepared to make the final draft. Go through your paper 1 or 2 times and slowly read your paper. Correct your mistakes. It may be grammatical mistake or it may be a typographical mistake. So mistakes are more common. So correct your mistakes and rearrange the informations if important. Adjust the margins, adjust the line spacing, and fulfill the needs set by your professor.